Welcome to Alpha Centurion. I'll be your guide. So originally I was going to title this video, My Unsolicited Opinion on the Current Hot Topic. But I'm going to change that title to Why Reading the Ecumenical Councils is Important. So my opinions on the hot topics of the day, everything from abortion to gay rights to gay marriage to the death penalty, gun control, all of that has been informed and developed in the last 3 to 5 years. So before that time, I read the Bible. I'm just going to pick this one as the example. And I read the Bible a total of about 7 times. The NAB was the one that I understood the best. The NRSV was the one that I enjoyed reading the most. And like I said, I did read other Bibles. There's plenty of them that I've gone through. But the paraphrases, like the book, like the Good News Bible, while it is the Bible, it's missing a few of the more, let's just say, stronger elements, more controversial elements when you read through a paraphrase. That's why I don't recommend the Passion Bible to someone who's just coming into Christianity or Catholicism. Okay. Why do I say that, though? Because after reading the Bible 7 times and reading a Catholic Bible 3 times, or 3 different Catholic Bibles, I guess I should say. At the end of the day, I was still very liberal. While I had moved from being pro-choice to pro-free will, and while I had recognized things like sexuality outside of marriage as a sin, it didn't really change my personal life. It didn't pull me back into the church. In fact, reading the Bible, I believe it was the 5th time, the 2nd time I read through a Catholic Bible, it was when I got to Paul and I could see his misogyny very clearly for the first time, that I was like, I need an answer for this. And that's what drew me back to the church. But I could still be attending church regularly, still listening to every single homily I've ever heard, and my views would not have advanced much from where I was. So what did change? Well, changed is I read through the office readings in the Liturgy of the Hours. I was doing prayer at one point 5 times a day, but 3 times a day plus a office reading. And that's actually the first time I disagreed with Catholic Answers. I'd been listening to Catholic Answers for years, and I always found their stuff useful and edifying. But it was when reading through the Divine Office, the Liturgy of the Hours, that I first had a opinion on Catholicism, on the dogma. And it was a disagreement with Jimmy Akin. I was just like, hey, what he's saying is not what I just read in the Church Fathers. And then later, in the Church Fathers, in the office readings. And then later on, when I just simply quoted an office reading, someone who had watched my show, watched my channel, called into Catholic Answers and repeated what I had said, what I had literally read from the book. And Jimmy Akin was like, no, that's wrong. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. This is the prayer of the church. This is the office readings that are sanctioned and promoted from the church. What's going on? In the office reading, just to let you know, it's a prayer, usually a psalm, broken up into 3 parts. And then it will have a reading that kind of complements whatever the reading of the previous day was in the missal, in the Roman missal, and from the daily readings. And then it has commentary by a church father, usually, every once in a while from an ecumenical council, and every once in a while just from a rule book. when it does the rule book thing, it's not as exciting. But when it quotes from the church fathers or from a doctor of the faith, it's powerful. It's impactful. It kind of ties everything together and makes everything make more sense. And I've even heard homilies that would fit in, that basically at the homily, I was like, hey, he read the office reading this morning. Priests are supposed to be reading that. And so that upped my game. That made me more orthodox in my beliefs. But it still didn't get me completely over the hump. It turned me more orthodox, but I couldn't give you a justification of why the rules are what they are. I could only tell you that I now agree with the rules, right? Like I now agreed with orthodoxy because I had now conformed to orthodoxy. So this year, let's say maybe 15 years to read through the Bible several times. And let's say 2 years to read through a majority of the church fathers. So starting off with the Liturgy of the Hours and then going to these two guys, which is the ancient church fathers and the early church fathers, and then going through some church father collections and some church father writings, Eusebius, Augustine, Irenaeus, which I still haven't gotten through, Origen, Athanasius, like you get it, okay? All right. Well, after reading through all this stuff, yeah, it's powerful, it's impactful, but you're so now you agree with Orthodox, but you don't have any reasoning because these aren't written in a way to justify stuff. It's just their takes on things, and you can agree with them or not agree with them. But all these people need to get together and fight it out and figure out who's correct because they have slightly different opinions. And guess what? They did. They did meet and they did fight it out. And this is where the Ecumenical Councils really shine and where you start to learn justifications, even though when you read it for the first few times, you read through an Ecumenical Council, you're like, is there justifications in here? But you start to get what they're doing, okay? But there are things that we believe in Orthodoxy, in Catholicism, in traditionalism, that are not found in the Bible, that are explored in the Church Fathers, but are defined and codified in the Ecumenical Councils. And in these extra biblical writings is where you get the first articulations. So for instance, as a Catholic and as someone who's Orthodox, you're going to say that abortion's not allowed. And someone who's more liberal-minded will say, well, the Bible never speaks on abortion. And someone who's never read the Bible might even mistake a ritual in the Old Testament as speaking pro-abortion. So then you have the Church Fathers. And let's say you go to the Didache, you go to chapter 2. And it says, now the second commandment of the teaching is, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not corrupt boys, thou shalt not commit fornication, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not practice magic, thou shalt not use sorcery, thou shalt not slay a child by abortion, nor what is begotten shalt thou destroy. Well, there it goes. There's the first articulation that says abortion is wrong in Christianity. But that's not the Bible. That's the Didache. That's the apostles. The teaching of the apostles. That's the foundation of the church. See the dangers in Protestantism. You want to know more. Okay. So then you're like, what else is in there? So if you're like me, you're going to go to the later stuff first. So you're going to go to Vatican II, Council of Trent. I have a series that's ongoing on that on my channel right now. You're going to go to the other, you got the Vatican I, the decrees on the Immaculate Conception, the Syllabus of Errors. Okay. Well, then you get through all that and you're like, well, what else is there? Well, you have the first 7 ecumenical councils. Yes, I am. I'm currently reading through this as well. And it's amazing because you see Okay, so there's a rule that only those who are baptized into the church are bound by the church rules, and the church cannot judge someone that is outside the church, that has not been baptized. That's a very important rule for all the discussions that are happening today with every hot topic. Now, there's more. Okay. But I just want you to understand that if you're going to speak on Catholicism, you're going to speak on religion, it's important to read the church fathers. It's important to read the Ecumenical Councils, because you're not going to get there through the Bible alone. And you're not going to get there just by going to Mass. Okay? The most Catholics I know don't follow the rules. They don't. They don't know the rules. Even through RCIA, they're very poorly or weakly catechized. Or even if they were strongly catechized, they haven't maintained that catechesis. And so they have some opinions on something that they kind of remember hearing a few years ago when they were confirmed, or 20 years ago, or 15 years ago when they were confirmed. So that's it for this video. That's why reading the Ecumenical Councils and the Church Fathers and practicing the Liturgy of the Hours is important. You need the divine office. You need the guidance of the Church Fathers, because without them, you're lost. And they are all following Jesus and going. Peace, like, and subscribe. Talk to you all later. Bye.